किया है, इस शिकवा कदे में रह कर भी हर बात का शिकवा क्या करना, हर सुबह का शिकवा क्या करना, हर रात का शिकवा क्या करना। चोरी डाका राहज़नी जब रोज के हों मामूलियाँ, चोरी डाका राहज़नी जब रोज का हों मामूलियाँ, हर रोज की होती बातों पर हर घात का शिकवा क्या करना। जब हाकिम खुद भी मुजरिम हो, इंसाफ भी बेचा जाता हो। जब हाकिम खुद भी मुजरिम हो, इंसाफ भी बेचा जाता हो। जब जुल्म सितम हो चार तरफ, आफात का शिकवा क्या करना। जब जुल्म सितम हो चार तरफ, आफात का शिकवा क्या करना। जब जिल्लत का एहसास न हो और अपना कोई साथ न हो, जब जिल्लत का एहसास न हो और अपना कोई साथ न हो, उस कौम की गिरती कदरों पर लम्हात का शिकवा क्या करना। उस कौम की गिरती कदरों पर लम्हात का शिकवा क्या करना। जहाँ दीन भी बेचा जाता हो, इस्लाम का झंडा लहरा कर। जहाँ दीन भी बेचा जाता हो, इस्लाम का झंडा लहरा कर। फिर शाहिद कौम की हालत पर जुल्मात का शिकवा क्या करना। इस शिकवा कदे में रह कर भी हर बात का शिकवा क्या करना। हर सुबह का शिकवा क्या करना, हर रात का शिकवा क्या करना।
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Brilliant Faces with Dr. Saadia Asghar. I'm Dr. Saadia, and today's very special guest is Dr. Mohammad Haroon Siddiqi. Dr. Siddiqi is a doctor by profession and also a very successful industrialist. He headed his own pharmaceutical company for 50 years. He has also served as an honorary consul of Uganda, and Dr. Siddiqui is also a very talented poet. And so we're going to talk about his poetry as well. Dr. Siddiqui is Uncle Haroon for me. He's the father of a friend of mine. Assalamu alaikum. Kya haal hai aap?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैं खैरियत से हूँ। Good.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for taking out the time. I'm honored.
Thank you very much for honoring me by inviting me to your program.
आपके पास इतना experience है of running a pharmaceutical for 50
Right.
years from Karachi. You served as the chairman of EPLA, right?
Actually, I joined it after the death of my father. My father established his company till 1967. When I did my medical from medical college, I was actually doing my house job, and it was just 3 months which I had worked there when my father attacked, and I had to go and take the responsibility of this company.
Right.
And since then, I'm sitting there because there's no way out. Though I went for a small course of DTMNH, London, but then came back and again joined this company, pharmaceutical company. I have been running there for 50 years. I left, I retired. I took the retirement from there, and I went away from Karachi to US.
You went to Dow Medical College, right? Yeah. And then you got your MBBS And then, unfortunately, your father passed away.
Yes,
So then you took over the company.
Took over the company as a managing director of the company. I started running it. And after some time, my brother also joined me. He was made the managing director, and I became the chair. It was, it was inside job.
Acha. Did you have any experience? Had you been helping your father out before, or?
I did not have any experience of the industry. My father was running it. I used to go and listen and see he was doing whatever he was doing. And I was aware of the situation which was going on those days when Bhutto took over People's Party period. And there were bad days in a way because in those days when I joined, drugs generic scheme was introduced by People's Party. Every drug was sold by the generic name, not brand name.
Okay.
We had brands in the market, and then new Drugs Generic Act was introduced, and everything would be sold by his generic name. Like we had a product like eplacine, an analgesic product, aspirin, phenacetin, and caffeine.
Okay.
And then it was sold not by eplacine, which we introduced in the market. It was sold as aspirin or phenacetin tablets, or something like that, generic. So everything by generic. The cough syrup, our cough syrup was histamol. No more histamol. It was a ephedrine syrup, a cough syrup. So this created a lot of problem for us in a way. Right. Established a company and then you change name of all the products into generic name and change every material, packing material, name, and all promotional gadgets which were there. They were all changed. So there were bad days for pharmaceutical industry which were established previous to that because at that time new companies came in. When they came to know that you can manufacture anywhere, everywhere, and by any generic name. So there was no standing of the companies by their brand name. So the new companies started coming in. And second thing was that then the prices were fixed. You could not increase the prices even if the raw material was expensive, even the labor was going up, even the cost of production was going up. Things were not good. So you had to say withdraw the product if you are suffering a loss there in the pricing, or you sell at a loss. So we suffered because of the change in the government policies.
Right.
But still, we survived. We changed everything, all the names, all the packaging material and everything, and we started competing with the new companies which were coming in those days. So all my 50 years were after the Generics Act was applied by the People's Party, and the prices were fixed. So our growth was stunted, and growth was, it was not, though we introduced number of new products also after that, but somehow it was not a progressive period for us. The policy was changed. The government changed the policy and again they came in for brand name. That created a lot of problem because the number of companies who came in, their standard was not authenticated and there was no control on those days. But market came out of that quagmire, and now there are a number of companies, number of multinationals started leaving Pakistan, and now there are about 6 or 7 multinationals which have either merged or left Pakistan. The first one, Siba Gaigi, they left Pakistan, they sold their company. Glaxo, Welcome, they become joined. Glaxo was separate. Welcome Pakistan was separate.
Right.
They joined, and in this way, a lot of changes happened in pharma industry. And then, one way it was beneficial for the local industry to manufacture those products where the multinational have left was the vacuum. The prices came down due to competition, but the raw material was imported. Naturally, Pakistan do not manufacture basic raw material of pharma industry. This all was imported. First, it was China. China came in the market, and their products were cheaper. The raw material basic ingredient, which is known as active ingredient, which we import.
Right.
Now, when India came into the market and they start doing basic manufacturing, making active ingredients, they became cheaper than China because they are very near for us. Logistics were good. We can get immediate supplies. So every company started importing from India. And the funny thing is now in America, whatever you get in generic, they are all made in India. I mean, 20-30% export is to US from India. So this thing created a lot of problems to the pharma industry, and the pharma industry could not prosper, could not get the active ingredient manufacturing or vaccine manufacturing, things like that. Because if they don't have a profit in industry, they can't reinvest and they can create new jobs and new products. So this thing happened, and naturally the whole industry now is depending on imported ingredients and selling in market. And the number of products which are not manufactured here locally, they are very expensive. But those they are converted into the tablet form or syrup form or injection form, they become cheaper because the labor is cheap here. कोई टैक्स ब्रेक्स नहीं है कई दफा कोशिश की गई इससे हमने बात किया we have an association Pakistan Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association and we have tried so many times with some special but the taxes are there the same tax we have to pay 2% research fund whatever you sale you have to pay 2% to the government they don't do any research they don't return the money to us even if do some research they won't reimburse us I've been trying but then there are naturally there are sales taxes there and custom duties depending on the different products. Some raw materials have this benefit of custom duty rebate, but not all products don't have this rebate. So generally there is not much advantage of tax to the pharma industry.
Right. No wonder everything's so expensive. All the medicines keep getting more expensive,
Recently, they changed the policy and said the life-saving drugs will be controlled and the other drugs will be decontrolled. It happened about last year, I think. And then everybody started increasing prices. Now the product which was costing 10 rupees, now it is 20 rupees because they were suffering losses and as soon as they got this opening, they started increasing prices.
Yeah, that's terrible. A lot of medicines are available one day and the next day they're just gone. Like, they run out and they are not manufactured anymore. And they're very important medicines.
Because the rupee is devaluing and the dollar is increasing, everything is imported. As soon as there's change in the rupee dollar parity, naturally the material which is coming, if it is coming in finished form or raw material form, the packaging material, now petrol prices change, everything changes. The transport charge is more. The printer charges more on that, and similarly, the labor cost goes up because we have to increase the wages. And the cumulative effect which is there on the pricing, which is very high because of this, because you can't help it. Dollars gone up. It happened with me. And when I came here in Pakistan, so I suffered from it because without medicine, then naturally now other medications have come here. After that, similarly, they try to find out something else, but number of products disappear because of this price difference, because they can't sell on that fixed price which government has fixed. That's why they had to decontrol the prices, but the life-saving drugs are still controlled. So naturally, life-saving drugs is more important than other vitamins and general products.
Right.
And they are controlling it without realizing that if you won't import product, you won't sell product unless you have profit. Business is for profit. Business is not for charity purposes.
Right.
The government should realize this and then help the pharma industry whenever problems are there. Instead of just controlling the prices, it's like that you control the price of meat and the animals which are coming in or the chicken which is coming in is high price. So who will sell that? It's a simple mathematical calculation. But I don't know how the people who sit in the drug regulation authority of Pakistan, they think about this. They don't think, they think politically. In Nawaz Sharif time, they just controlled the prices and whatever delegation went there made them to understand that the prices have to be increased because the dollar price has gone up, the wages have gone up, the logistics have gone up, everything up. So how can we sell these products? So they said, no, this is political decision. We can't increase the prices because there will be hue and cry if we increase the price. So there's a political thinking. There's not logical thinking at all.
Right. And in the meantime, people suffer.
It's just like that, there's a restriction that when we open a pharmacy, there should be a pharmacist to be there.
Right.
So what happened? The pharmacists started selling their certificate by copying them. And the chemists have a copy on the, if he thinks that there's a problem, they show that copy. And that will be distributed in 10 chemist shops. So they always try to find out the ways. And now if you go to the pharmacies, they won't have any pharmacists there. The lay person will be dispensing drugs And the doctor's prescription, which I've seen, they write in such a way that if they have to write codeine, they will write CA and then will make something else. Because the doctors, they write in such a way. So,
Right.
pharmacists will give you anything at all, which you think that after C or after F, maybe some drugs is there, which is not required, and it may be contraindicated in that way. This was there, and nobody cares about these laws nowadays. बिकॉज वो किसी ने कहा था ना, रिश्वत लेके फंस गए हो तो रिश्वत देके छूट जाओ, वो वाली बात तो लोगों ने जहन में डाल लिया है कि वॉट एवर विल हैपन, you can bribe anybody and do anything, and they will maintain their register and whatever, and the relationship with the drug inspector, because drug inspectors are human beings, they have to survive, and things are getting very expensive. So everybody is कहते हैं कि जमीन तक बिक जाता है तो हर चीज बिक जाती है यहाँ पर।
आपको याद होगा, like my father, you met him, he was in the police force, so for many years उन्होंने serve किया था in the narcotics control board. He used to head it at one time. So he used to share everything with me because I was interested. वो अपनी training भी मुझे बताते थे क्या होगी. So he used to tell me that certain pharmaceutical companies, because they have access to controlled substances, they start supplying them outside of the pharmaceutical as well. In the industry, क्या practices हैं?
Actually, we used to manufacture a cough syrup with codeine.
Okay.
When People's Party government brought the generic scheme, Dr. Professor Nasir Sher, our professor in Dow Medical College also, and then he became Minister of Health. So he banned use of codeine in cough syrup because the people were coming to the pharmacy, buying the cough syrup and drink like like this. So they were doing. So he controlled. But these controls are not effective unless you have the whole machinery which is honest and stick to the laws of the country. And once in a time, doctors used to prescribe mixture. They make mixture. They had dispensers in their clinic. Do you remember? And they used to write a prescription, and their pharmacist used to manufacture in a small bottle with all dosage so and so. That was tinctures and spirits which were manufactured. We also used to manufacture initially there, and they used to drink it. We used to make it for the mixture, and they took that bottle. They just like a party. So naturally, people try to find out the way out from any restriction. We used to manufacture that injectable morphine. Morphine was very restricted data, pethidine and morphine. Now you have to take a quota from the government, apply to the government. They used to give you. Then we manufacture ampules and everything. Then give the record to them. And even if we sell it to the chemist who were authorized to sell it. And they also had to keep the register that what the patient, whether prescription is there or not. But slowly and steadily, they started forgetting about it, what is happening. The drug addicts, they used to buy the whole quota and they took it. And the patient never got their injectable. So it is very difficult to control. Unless you have a good controlling authorities and people are honest and sincere and who can work it out. Nowadays, everything is topsy and turvy, and nobody cares what is happening. And it is going on openly nowadays. Nowadays, I have heard that even in the schools and the colleges, the students, they are used to all these drugs and all those things, and they are happening, making parties and whatnot. So I don't know how this will be controlled. Control is there on the paper, but actually there is no control.
You're absolutely right. There's a very high rate of addiction.
तो मैं यही सुन रहा हूँ कि बहुत ज्यादा ये बढ़ गया है और बच्चों में बहुत ज्यादा इसे difficult to control them. And still people try to find out anything. Every cup syrup which you take, there is drowsiness, produce drowsiness. If you take more than 2 spoon or 4 spoon or 6 spoon or take the whole bottle at night, it's very comforting. So how can you stop this? This is essential things and necessary things. They have to be prescribed to the patients. And naturally, if the patient start drinking the whole bottle, then it's up to the people who are taking it. So it is a very difficult situation. In a way.
On the topic of drug addiction. So I've noticed that in certain areas where there's a high rate of drug addiction, like in the affluent areas, वहाँ पर pharmacies have more of a tendency to deny people. So what that does is those people who are going there then go and buy the same from somebody who's selling it on the streets.
Exactly.
Right?
That's right.
So it is kind of fueling the drug trade. And this is one thing which, for example, my father was also telling me कि ये एक तरीका है जिससे drug trade ज़्यादा fuel होती है, which is that people can't access medications for their mental health issues. If they can't get it, then they need to find something to soothe themselves and feel better. And so first of all, they'll try to get those same drugs, and then, they'll move on to other drugs, contraband stuff. So what can the pharmaceutical industry do?
They can't do anything. They have to manufacture products for the sake of the patient and to relieve them from the malady or what the problems are there. But if somebody takes it in high dosage, or some other people who don't require it and start taking it, so for what can the industry do? Even the government can't do these things. They can't control every person who is going on, what is happening in the homes, what is happening in the schools, what is happening in the other places. They can't stop totally. All over the world, these things go. The drug lords are famous for this. The drug lords, they are enjoying their life and they are, making people addict because that is their business. Even the young children and even the older one, everyone who is suffering and they know that there is a harmful effect. Still, they are taking it. You can't do that. This is just very limited scope to control it.
Right. When my father was heading the Narcotics Control Board, then obviously there were a lot of criminals, right, that he used to come in contact with. Kai pakde jate the. And I cannot tell you, uncle, how many of them, they all had sons. तो वो सारे अपने रिश्ते भेजते थे. And my father used to say they want के रिश्तेदारी हो जाए.
The first part of it is that now if they fail there, then they will use Qaid Azam just say the money.
Right.
Money angle. And if they are successful there, then they will threaten. There are people who resist, but to a certain extent.
Counterfeit drugs, counterfeit and fake drugs. How much of an issue is that in Pakistan?
Counterfeit drugs is an issue because there are no statistics available. But I think that we can safely say 25 to 30% drugs are either counterfeited or substandard or spurious. All the three forms are there. There may be spurious, there is something else, there's something inside. Counterfeit, the label is from famous companies, but somebody has manufactured and put the tablets there. Right. It could be counterfeit. And substandard, that instead of 10 milligram, they're only 5 milligrams.
That they say that they're 10. Acha. So who's responsible for checking? Checks and balances conduct.
Drug inspector, there is Ministry DRAP. Now, well, it was Ministry of Health previously in our DRAP, and they have all the inspectors all over Pakistan in every province because this is the provincial subject actually. So every province has this machinery there. Drug inspectors are there. They go and check, they draw the samples from the chemist shop or from the institutions, which government institution which buy directly from the manufacturer, and they send the samples to the drug testing laboratories. The drug testing laboratories give their results, and on the basis of the result, if it is substandard, spurious, whatever it is, the inspector put the case to the drugs court, goes to the drugs court, where they have to prove that this is substandard or spurious or so-and-so, and the court put the person behind the bar or the penalty, what penalty which has been prescribed. But in between, there are always chances that somebody will take bribe and change the report. Those people who are making reports, testing drugs, first they can be bought. Then the drug inspector who has taken that samples can be bought. Then the report which has been established and go to the court, they can be bought. So everybody is sellable. And you can purchase anybody. And as they say in the American movie, that you have a heavy pocket, then you can get away from murder also. It's not only in Pakistan, it is all over the world is happening.
Yeah, this is a huge problem also in India, right?
Problem is in US, problem is in Europe, problem in Japan. The extent is less, maybe minimum or maximum or in between, but you can't say any country is just a divide of any dishonesty or dishonest people.
Then there's no solution to this because it's the culture, right?
There's no solution. There's culture. The human beings are made in two ways, है ना? उसको अल्लाह ताला ने बनाया है अच्छी से नफ्स से बनाया और उसको खराब से खराब कर दिया. वो अरबी का मुझे अभी याद नहीं आ रहा है. कि अल्लाह ताला ने इंसान को जो बनाया नफ्स अम्मारा से बनाया है और उसको बेहतर से बेहतर एहसन तकवीम का लफ्ज है, एहसन तकवीम से सबसे अच्छी जो चीज है उससे बनाया है और उसको अर्जुन क्या राजनीति क्या कर दिया है, वो रजील कर दिया है। तो अल्लाह ताला ने खुद कहा कि हमने अच्छे से अच्छे बनाया एहसन तकवीम से और रजील से रजील कर दिया उस इंसान को। तो उसमें दोनों क्वालिटीज है ना, इंसानी भी है शैतानी भी है। इंसान भी बनाया है और शैतान भी बनाया है। शैतान क्यों बनाया? शैतान इसलिए बनाया ना कि ताकि उसकी आदत दूसरी साइड भी हो। तो कहते हैं, मैंने शेर कहा था, तस्वीर के दो रुख हैं किधर देख रहे हो। तस्वीर के दो रुख हैं किधर देख रहे हो, तारीकी में बैठे हो सहर देख रहे हो। और जब तारीकी भी है सहर भी है तो आप जिस तरफ तारीकी में बैठेंगे तो आपको तारीकी नजर आएगी, सुबह बैठेंगे तो सुबह सहर नजर आएगी। तो ये चीजें दोनों हैं अल्लाह ताला ने बनाई। नफ्स हमारा भी बनाया है और अच्छी नफ्स भी बनाई है। तो बस दरमियान में जो भी इंसान का अपना अल्लाह ताला ने तकदीर लिख दिया है वहां पहुंच जाता है किसी न किसी तरह से।
अच्छा, तो फिर लोगों को अगर आपने एडवाइस करना हो अबाउट मेडिसिन तो फिर किस तरह पता चलेगा कि फेक नहीं है या काउंटरफिट नहीं है या स्पूरियस नहीं है? हाउ डू वी?
कोई पता नहीं चलेगा। मैं तो खुद दवाएं खरीदता हूँ, मैं देता हूँ, मैं देख लेता हूँ, लेबल देख लेता हूँ, डिब्बा देख लेता हूँ, सही है, शीशे सही है, सील है नहीं है, अंदर क्या है क्या नहीं है। I cannot say, nobody can say unless you test it. You can't test every bottle, you can't test everything. Because if supposing they make 1,000 bottles of a product, and maybe 200 are spurious, so how can you find out? How can you find out? Draw a sample from the industry, you draw a sample from a pharmacy, but the rest is sold under the table. You can't control that.
If you compare the pharmaceutical companies in Karachi with those, for example, in the Punjab and Lahore, are the people in Karachi better?
Karachi control is better. Control is better. City, the whole machinery, drug inspectors, and all those are sitting here. But if you go to the rural areas, if you go to Hyderabad, Sakkar, and maybe rural other areas, it will be difficult to find even the inspectors. They can't go to every shop. They can't go to the pharmacy. They can't go to the hospital. Even the hospital, government hospital institutions which buy the products, from there the pilferage occurs. The people this buy the products and sell it in the market, and counterfeit products are replaced there.
So if you had to offer your advice, what needs to be done immediately to improve the pharmaceutical industry, to improve the availability of medicines?
Actually, some government policies have to be looked into, and maybe the board or the drug registration authorities, etc., has to be strengthened in a different way in different provinces, and they have to be trained. And maybe these inspectors have to be given a respectable position in the society so that they can survive and do their work honestly. Because of supposing if inspector getting a 5,000 rupees a month, he has to educate his children, he has to have a house and all those things, and can't live there. Even 35,000 which they have done, it's not enough. If they even they pay 100,000 rupees nowadays, the assembly members have increased their salary to 5 lakh. But if the inspector is given 100,000, how can he survive? How can he take care of his children? How of children's education? Education is so expensive. I'm seeing the children, they are paying 50, 60, 70,000 rupees for admission in small classes. How can these people survive? Naturally, worst come to worst, they just try to find out a way out. And then whatever way they can find, they will adopt that to survive, to get their children proper education, proper living, and all those things. So this is a $100,000 question, how this thing should be controlled. Because every country is controlling. I mean, somewhere is better and somewhere it is worst, somewhere in between. But things are going exactly, can't do anything about it.
मेरे ख्याल से दुआ ही कर सकते हैं.
That is, in the end, that is the हर चीज के लिए करना है.
What is the way or the procedure here in Pakistan to start a pharmaceutical, to register it in Pakistan? What are the permissions that are needed? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
You have to first maybe find a proper place for a person who knows about the industry and have in your mind what sort of pharmaceutical you want to make, either it is tablet, capsule, syrup, or injectables. Then whether you want to have some psychotropic drugs to be manufactured, or you manufacture say cough syrup or vitamins, etc. All these depends on your thinking, on your planning, on your objectives, and then experts like pharmacists have to be employed. Pharmacists who are trained for this industry, they will give you the idea, and the architect who is in this pharma industry, who has already established some industries, they will give you the idea okay, how to manufacture. The whole industry has changed. Initially, it was just like a building, you make various rooms, put some machines. Then a lot of restrictions have come in that wood should not be used. There should be stainless steel everywhere. Everything should be of stainless steel. And then there are rooms like if you store a drug, what should be there? And the room should be air conditioned. There'll be various doors. If you import some raw material, if the raw material comes, then it should be entered in a closed room. Then a sample should be drawn from there, and then should be stored in the back room. And in this way, there's so many restrictions there nowadays. Okay, only the expert who is a pharmacist or a chemist and architect who has done this job, they can plan the whole industry. Because if you enter a production area, then you have to have a very double door and then enter there, change your clothes, put the outer clothes, and then have apron and mask and cap and everything should be there. Change it and then go into it. You can't go from one place to the other. All the rooms should be conditioned. Air condition should be in such a way that the powder from the tablet room should not enter into the liquid room. The liquid room air should be separate from the injectable room. And in this way, is a lot of problems nowadays. Not easy to think. Even you store your psychotropic drugs separately from the vitamins. If you have antibiotic, then you have the separate room for antibiotic. It should be dispensed separately. If everything is dispensed in one place for manufacturing, then the manufacturing room should be different. So now the air control is important. Air circulation, air ventilation, and all those things should be taken care of. And even the people who enter there, they should be free of any infection or disease. Even in the laboratory, the laboratory is separate. Antibiotic laboratory for testing antibiotic should be separate. Veterinary and health product should be separate from the other products. There are so many restrictions that, and you have to read the Drugs Act.
So then who comes and checks
Drug
the
inspector.
premises?
Drug inspector, drug controller. When you apply that I have completed the industry, then you apply to them with all the detail and information, the list of your technical staff. They come there, the whole team come there from the drugs inspectors, drug controller, everybody will come. They will send an expert also, expert who has worked in the pharmaceutical industry. They will all come, inspect all the rooms. They will inspect the air conditioning. They will inspect the machines. Machines should be all stainless steel. Now every product should be separately manufactured, not on one machine. And if you manufacture on one machine, then the machine should be cleaned. What is the cleaning protocol? What are the hygiene protocol? They are all written in the Drugs Act. You have to read that. It's a big book. Everything is detailed, given in that.
So did it help that you were a medical doctor when you joined? Was it helpful?
It was helpful because I knew the drugs, but I can't manufacture. I can't get a license. Only B Farm, who has some 5 years experience, can get a license of industry. Even 1 year, 2 years experience is not enough. They have to work from some industry. And then if you want to a new industry and you want to apply, then they will check the pharmacist, how much experience is he had and which degree. MSc or MS or BS used to be licensed previously, but now not anymore. I think pharmacy is a must.
Okay. For anyone to start a pharmaceutical company.
Because they have to technical staff. And for every drug has to be registered, not that you have the industry and start manufacturing.
Right.
Every drug, the whole protocol, what drug is there, raw material imported, how you test the finished product, stability testing should be there and all those things.
Right.
So these tests are all required. And these all tests are given different product range differently. There should be expiry should be there. Raw material which has been imported. How old is the expiry of the raw material, expiry of the finished product which have to be on the label. Generic names be written under the brand name. Also, brand name has been allowed now. The brand name should be there. Similarly, packing, it should be sealed so that nobody can pilfer it. So there should be no pilferage. But still, people who are doing these things, they're still doing it. You cannot control. You can put controls, but you can't control.
But there are also many good pharmaceutical companies as well, right? We're not
That's
all
why
bad.
that's why we are surviving. Huh?
Otherwise, we would all be gone, right?
Like environment is there. You can reduce the contamination, but you can't completely get rid of contamination.
अच्छा, जब आपने ज्वाइन किया था तो तब कितने एम्प्लॉइज थे आपके? हाउ मेनी एम्प्लॉइज डिड यू हैव एट दैट टाइम?
जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया था तो मेरे ख्याल में 400 के करीब थे.
Really?
The employees in the factory, and then we have sales force, marketing force. Marketing should be all over Pakistan. So if you have in province like Sindh, you have 30, 40. Punjab, you will have 50. In WFP, you have 40. At least 200, 300 people in the market should be there to distribute your products in the various sectors and retail them. So what products are there? If you don't know, I make Miplacine, you want my prescribe Miplacine. So somebody should go there, give you a sample and tell them that this is the product which are manufacturing. If it is known product, you don't have to go into details. But if it's a new product which you have brought out, then you have to give the details to the doctors. When was it used, how it is used, whether it is used in other countries or not, whether it has some advantage over the other product which is available in the market. So naturally you have a medical salesman, and then you have people who go to the chemist shop, pharmacies, and tell them that we are manufacturing this and we are telling our doctors to prescribe this. And when the patient will come, you have to have these products. So they will place an order and then you send it to them. And in that way, the whole system runs on 200-300 people. And then they go on increasing. As the sales increase, the market force, we have increased the production people. We have to increase the pharmacist because the testing is also a difficult job. If you have 10 products, it can be done by 1-2 pharmacists. If you have 100 products, then at least you have 10-15 pharmacists because then you have a microbiologist. If you have injectables, you have to have a microbiologist. If you have simple products, you can just from pharmacist. Otherwise, you need PhD to research to do the evaluation of the products. If you introduce products, then you have to have other people there.
So, was your father also a doctor? When did he start it? He wasn't.
He wasn't. We migrated from India, and he has an industry there, also pharmaceutical industry. Our family, my grandfather has a pharmacy, and my nana, my grandfather, he was a doctor in Lucknow. When we migrated from there, my father started here. My uncle and my father both. My uncle has an industry known as EPLA Laboratories. Opal, OPAL. He started first, and then my father started in 1950 here. He was there, and he was running it very good, and he made a new factory there, site limited industrial area, if you have heard about it.
Right.
So
I've been there.
You went there? You saw the industrial area, there's a lot of industries there.
Yeah.
He made a few industries here in Pakistan, also in India also. So he started it. He was an enterprising man, enterprising and ambitious, and he did everything by himself. In those days, pharmacists were not available. There was no pharmacy in Pakistan. So he using chemist. Pharmacy course started in Lahore first. So he went to Lahore to find a pharmacist for the industry. And then Karachi University opened a pharmacy department. So now there are a number of pharmacists. Naturally, when you are enterprising, you want to do something. With those expertise which was available there, he started this industry. And mashallah, he did very well. My son, he worked with me for 5 years. They said, I don't like the industry working here. So I got an opportunity in a bank. For the last 15 years, he's working.
And so you have two daughters, right?
One is Nazia, and Fauzia.
So then Nazia is an artist. What does Fauzia do?
Work in this NGO. Once you send your children abroad, they don't want to come back. So it is a bad idea to send children abroad.
No, you're right.
So
I think they should go, they should, acquire skills, they should get good education, and then they should come back. कितनी देर बाहर फिरते रहेंगे, right? Nomads की तरह.
They should come, like, I don't know, they decided. So I can't force you. My father forced me to do medicine. I was not interested in medicine, but he said, Tana, you have to do medicine, you have become a doctor. So I said, I'll become a doctor. Then I had to run the industry because the industry was thrust on me in a way. I was running for 50 years and I decided, but my children also said, okay, it's enough, don't have to work anymore.
अब आप मुझे बताएं कि जो आप इतनी अच्छी पोएट्री लिखते हैं उसके बारे में कुछ बताएं। अभी आपने एक शेर तो अपना सुनाया था, इट्स अमेजिंग, और मुझे समझ बिल्कुल आ रहा है, उर्दू मैंने पढ़ी थी। हाँ।
शायरी की शुरुआत जो मेरी हुई है वो 1990 में। वैसे तो मैं बचपन से मुझे शायरी का शौक था, मैं पढ़ता था तो लिखता भी था, कुछ वो लिखता था कि जैसे तुकबंदी जैसे होती है ना, जाहिर है कोई मैंने उसका कोई लेसन या कोई सबक तो नहीं लिया, ना मेरे खानदान में कोई शायर था, नो पोएट। तो लेकिन पढ़ता था अल्लामा इकबाल की शायरी कि आता है याद मुझको गुजरा हुआ जमाना, वो बाकी बहारें वो मेरा आशियाना। सब बच्चों ने पढ़ी होगी उस जमाने में, अब पता नहीं आजकल हुआ नहीं है। इस तरह से और बहुत सी जो चीजें, मिर्जा गालिब का कलाम पढ़ा करता था, तो स्कूल में जो थोड़ा बहुत था और था, उसके बाद भी मुझे उर्दू पढ़ने का शौक था, तो मैं रिसाले किताबें जो पढ़ता था वो पढ़ता था, तो उसमें तुकबंदी कर लिया करता था, कुछ शेर लिख दिया, कुछ मजाहिया मिजाह में आ गया। तो जब मैं अपने मेडिकल कॉलेज में गया, वहां भी मैंने चंद एक शेर लिखे, जैसे मरीजों की फुगा है और मैं हूँ। मरीजों का वहां था ना, हमारे चंद एक दोस्त भी थे जो शायरी करते थे, वहां बॉडी पे खड़े होकर एनाटॉमी में डिसेक्शन होता था जब डेड बॉडी का, तो लिखा था मरीजों की फुगा है और मैं हूँ, और बहुत ही सख्त जाँ है और मैं हूँ, और बहुत पढ़ता रहा हूँ सर्जरी को, दिमागे नातवा है और मैं हूँ, और चले भी आओ JCH में शाहिद। जिना सेंट्रल अस्पताल कहलाता था, जिना अस्पताल जो है आजकल, जिना सेंट्रल JCH, चले भी आओ JCH में शाहिद, शाहिद मेरा तखल्लुस है, जगह ये पुरफुजा है और मैं हूँ। इस किस्म के अशार में लिखा करता था। फिर 1990 में ये हुआ कि वो कुछ जब हम लोगों ने पढ़ वढ़ लिया, शादियां हो गई, घरों में आ गए, तो बाद से जहाँ मैं रहता था वहां उसके करीब करीब में मेरे कई और दोस्त भी आके रह गए, और फिर हम लोग शाम को मिला करते थे, हफ्ते में 1-2 दफा 3 दफा तो करते रहते थे। तो इस तरह से आपस में बातें करते करते कुछ शेर होने लगे, जाने लगे महफिलों में जहाँ शायरी होती थी या लोग गाना गाते थे या कुछ होता था। तो उसमें हाँ 1990 में तो ये हुआ था, तो उसमें मैंने लिखना शुरू किया कुछ इस किस्म की चीजें। हमारे एक दोस्त थे, उन्होंने कहा तुम नात लिख के दो, मुझे नात सुनाओ, किसी ने कुछ कहा, तो मतलब इस तरह से थोड़ा सा इंसेंटिव वो थोड़ा सा बनता गया, लोगों को सुनते थे तो खुश होते थे, कुछ समझते थे कुछ नहीं समझते थे, कुछ मजा मजा में भी होता था, तो इस तरह से मैंने लिखना शुरू कर दिया।
Dr. Siddiqui has made an invaluable contribution to Pakistan by successfully running a pharmaceutical company for 50 years, impacting so many lives. He is truly a silent hero of society, working for 50 years with integrity, diligence, hard work, tirelessly and responsibly. He should be recognized for his invaluable contribution, and we are inspired by his dedication and his service to humanity and his dedication to making sure that Pakistanis receive life-saving medicines of good standard. And we thank him, and I thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Thank you very much. I have enjoyed talking to you, and you very patiently listening to me, whatever I have to say. However, thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.